Hola mi gente, I'm your host Lily Agosto and you're watching En La Escena. This week we're featuring Midsummer Night Swing at the Lincoln Center. Representing Puerto Rico this week is Aurora Flores of Son del Barrio.
A little background on you and how your career, how you started out in media and developed this love of this music.
Well, I recorded my first album, LP in those days, when I was 15 with the New York All-Borough Orchestra. I was a young musician and I was a bassist. I was first bass. I studied with Frederick Zimmerman. And then I got to go to music and art, but I came from a very conservative Puerto Rican family. And the more serious I got about music, the more strict my father became that he did not want his daughters to be in music, at least not popular music.
Tell us a little bit about Son del Barrio. How was it created?
Well, Son del Barrio, first of all, it's a play on the words son, S-O-N, which is a musical rhythm that is found in Cuba, in Puerto Rico, in Santo Domingo, and zones, Z-O-N-E, where you find people of color who work hard, struggle hard, but we party just as hard. I started it almost 8 years ago now, and I wanted to have a band that would reflect the music from the streets of Latin New York, where I grew up. And when I grew up, I was listening to the Cuban music, Puerto Rican music, the Dominican music, the hot tropical Caribbean music that makes us move. Us our history, even if we want to listen or not, but it brings all this thousands of years of culture with it. Remember that America may be 200 years old, but the Caribbean is more than 500. And the basis of this music came from enslaved Africans who brought thousands of years of culture to the Caribbean. And today in Lincoln Center, in America, we have a spotlight on this music that was brought over in chains. And for me, that's a wonderful thing. So when I started my career, I started as a music writer. So I began as a music writer, and I was at Latin New York. From Latin New York, I went to Billboard. I was the first woman to be a music correspondent for Billboard magazine. And I was at the right place at the right time at the right age. I was about 20, 21 years old. It was the 70s. It was a change in society. We were going from I Love Lucy to sex, drugs, and rock and roll. The relations with Cuba were cut off. Puerto Ricans here were just absorbing this music and mixing it with their own cultures, with Dominican, with Puerto Rican, with influences of Haitian, and we were doing it. And then we were mixing it with the R&B that we had. Remember, Boogaloo got hot. So all of this was being put together. And here we are, second, third generation Puerto Ricans, still embracing this music of our parents.
have young people dancing salsa, old salsa and new salsa, more so than other cultures that will like, well, that's my parents' music, I'm not listening to that. But, you know.
Well, of course, I think that we embrace our music, maybe more than other cultures. And also because Puerto Ricans being here, as you know, we're U.S. citizens. So we had citizenship imposed on us. So we came here with a different mentality than other cultures. Other cultures came fleeing political oppression, and they wanted to leave behind. We didn't. We still love Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico was taken over. So we were kind of dragged here as part of imperialism, really. That's what it was. And they made us citizens out of guilt, but they forgot to tell everybody else. So we got to be in the same boat, and I think that's why Puerto Ricans relate so much more to African Americans, because we're a people without a country still. Because we're a people without a country still, and we were dragged here, and I think that's why it's so important for us to keep some of our culture, to keep some of our traditions, and I think that's paramount for us. And then other cultures come in and they put in their seeds, you know, like cumbia. I love cumbia, the Mexican music, rancheras, vallenatos, all this great music that in New York comes together, like the dream of Simon to have all Latinos together, at least by dint of location. We're all together right here. So it's a good thing. I love the music. I think through music, more than even journalism these days, because now journalism is entertainment. Make it bilingual. I find there's more salsa now coming out bilingual. We have a tune we're going to do tonight at Lincoln Center called Revolú, which is about domestic violence. And it's bilingual because that issue cuts across all nationalities, all cultures, all classes. And, you know, women, we're still considered the slaves of the world. We are. And in Latin music, you know how hard it is for women to do anything, let alone a woman band leader. I am a band leader.
I hope you guys enjoyed our show this week. I'm your host, Lily Agosto, and you're watching En La Escena.